Good morning, Carl. RJ Scaringe, CEO of Rivian, joining us in Stanton Springs, where this is where your new plant is going to be.
Yes.
$5 billion plant. A lot of people are saying, is this a smart move, given where the EV demand is in this country, to break ground on a new plant?
Yeah, I mean, we're first launching the R2 in our facility in Illinois, but this is really the site where we'll scale global production. We're building this into a 400,000 unit plant. You can see here we've done a tremendous amount of site work, working closely with the state. The state's really supported that. We've got the pads are set up. There's infrastructure that's built, roads, the railway, water service. You can see the power. Utilities are already coming in.
This doesn't come online on production until 28.
Yeah.
And between now and then, you know that we're going to see a dip in EV sales starting next quarter. Not just for you guys, but for the industry. What do you expect from EV demand after the tax credit ends at the end of the month?
It's hard to be overly specific on exactly what's going to happen in call it the month following the end of the $7,500 credit. But we really look at it in the fullness of time. If you look out past a couple of months beyond that, and certainly into the time frame that we'll be building R2s here, we're really bullish on the demand for EVs, and importantly, the demand for something that's, putting EV aside, is just an incredible vehicle. Starting at $45,000, this is, it's a 5-passenger SUV, really comfortable to be in, and incredibly capable on and off road. It captures the essence of what was in our R1 vehicle really well, but at a much lower price point. So we're really bullish on that.
But you need the magnets, you need the raw materials from China. The president is working to negotiate a final agreement with China. Do you need that done by a certain amount of time before you start to say, hold on, the warning light is flashing that we're in trouble here?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about export controls around heavy rare earth metals, which come out of China today. I think there's two pieces. One is, of course, we need to continue to have trade relationships with China on those heavy rare earth metals. But in parallel to that, there's a number of initiatives to build up production outside of China, in particular here in the United States, of heavy rare earth metals.
Which won't come online for a while.
Which won't come online for a while, but certainly as we think about building our capacity, we're very confident that over time this is an issue that's going to be solved. We spent a lot of time with the administration. Just was in D.C. 2 weeks ago, going very deep on this technically. We're confident solutions will come, but in the short term, we are dependent on exports from China of those heavy rare earth metals.
Is there a deadline date where you need to hear that there is an agreement with China, between the U.S. and China?
No, we also have some technologies we're developing that allow us to build motors without heavy rare earth metals, so those also come online. So we have, it's like the things we can control, which is our own designs, the things we can push for, which is supply chain outside of China, and then the things we have to manage, which is today's supply out of China.
Quickly on the supply chain, how worried are you about the smaller suppliers, not just for EVs, but for the auto industry overall?
Yeah, this is something we're very focused on. It's been one of our biggest challenges in ramping R1 going back to 2021, which is the challenges with the supply base, and in particular, looking at some of those tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 suppliers. And so we now have a really robust process to assess the supplier health, if there's issues.
Are they in trouble?
We've had some supplier challenges on our existing production of R1, but with R2, we have a really robust way to look at the health of the supply base to make sure it's ready to ramp.
Last question. You have a DOE loan that is helping fund this.
Yeah.
You know that the Trump administration has been willing to claw back loans that have already been approved before the money is allocated. Any concerns that might happen? He's not a fan of the EV industry, but any concerns that might happen here?
Look, we have a great partnership and relationship with the Department of Energy. I think the really important thing to keep top of mind here is that the administration and the president's objective is to bring jobs to the United States, make sure the United States continues to lead on technology, and to make sure that the companies that are building that technology are supporting not just U.S. customers, but our global companies. And so in the case of what we're building with R2, this is a global product. We're going to be producing it here. It's world-class technology. The large $5.8 billion joint venture software supply agreement that we put together with Volkswagen demonstrates the strength of the technology that we have, and companies like Rivian are really important to the United States.